Okay, so to kick us off, we're going to be taking a look at 5 top e-commerce trends to watch for in 2023. Now, one of the biggest things that we want to point out about this is these topics in and of themselves have a lot of nuance to each of them. We're not going to be able to do them all justice by giving a high level here, but we do want to ask you the key question. Are you focused on these 5 areas? And here I'll just quickly scroll through them. M-commerce or mobile commerce, AI and web automation, progressive web apps, social media advertising, and then Web 3.0. Now, these are pretty rote topics that a lot of folks have heard a lot of buzz around, but have you dove into each of these topics and really thought through the next 3 to 5 years and the competitive landscape within your specific niche or your specific facet of e-commerce? Now, in particular, one of the things that we want to focus on here is how can you sort of answer key questions and plan things out in general over the next several years so that you can position yourself in front of a lot of your competition and really make a huge play if you want to for some of these key niches. So without any more sort of prepping on these topics, just going right into mobile commerce, one of the biggest things that you can see here is that generally speaking, not just in this particular region that this particular topic is written for here in Africa, but also all over the world, mobile e-commerce is dominant, especially with B2C, but also growing with B2B as well. Now, in particular, there are a lot of key aspects for mobile that you can take advantage of with e-commerce so that you can leverage this play. Now, one of those is progressive web apps. And the fact of the matter is that the concept behind progressive web apps, or simply put, basically being able to merge the benefits of having a website and a mobile app without having to redo everything and have 2 separate sets of infrastructure for the UI layer, this can be a massive benefit to companies. So you really want to see progressive web apps or PWAs and m-commerce as being really key aspects of the same piece or 2 sides of the same coin. One side of this is what is the consumer going to be typically focusing on? And just think about it. If you're just straight B2B, a lot of your users are going to be busy, traveling. They may be getting notifications at different times of the day. And so they may use desktop experiences for a lot of their work and interaction, but quite a bit of it's going to be on mobile or tablet as well. So you're going to want to take advantage of PWAs so that you can continue to leverage essentially the same infrastructure on your user interface layer as you have for your APIs, etc. Typically, you're going to see that a lot of mobile e-commerce as well as desktop e-commerce, they're able to use the same set of APIs, but leveraging the same user experience layer, that can be quite challenging with a lot of technology that doesn't leverage concepts like PWA. PWA has become very dominant. So anyway, these really feed off of each other. In and of its own, it really has its own category is AI and web automation. Now, this is a pretty deep topic that we go into a lot of in separate videos, but suffice to say that there are probably somewhere between 20 to 30 ways, each of which can be progressively more important for your specific niche. Over the next 3 to 5 years, there are 20 to 30 ways that you can optimize for AI and web automation. Now, this is going to continue to be the heartbeat of what drives key niche value within your specific offering, because look, at the end of the day, there are commoditized offerings that are Goliaths, and they're just going to keep chomping away and taking big chunks of the market. But what they can't do is they can't outpace typically, I mean, I guess it's technically possible, but they typically are not going to outpace someone who's really passionate about a certain niche and applying the tech to that particular niche. And if you're really focused on your niche and your specific key area, and then you're going to provide some of these newer technologies to deliver more value like AI and web automation, well, then you can dramatically defeat any other competition in your particular space and then sort of land and expand from there. This is a ultimate weapon against big, massive companies. And so then your question should be, how can you sequence this? And there are, within a sort of arsenal of AI and web automation, there are about 20 to 30 key areas that you can just hammer on and drill into. And without going into the weeds, we just want to encourage you to be on the lookout for some of those different videos, some of the nuances. If you're quite interested in seeing this sooner rather than later, just feel free to make a comment and we will literally prioritize getting a response video with all of those 20 to 30 aspects for AI and web automation as soon as possible, so you can dig in and check them out. The fourth area here is social media advertising. Now, a lot of B2B folks that we talk to sort of glaze over whenever they hear something like this. I just want to encourage you, if you drill into the weeds on different advertising mechanisms, social media is absolutely becoming dominant, and this is even true for B2B. And the reason is really simple, and I encourage you to pay attention to this if your eyes have glazed over at all. The bottom line is that you can target people extremely well. I mean, think about it. If you're watching this video or reading this article, it's been syndicated across different social media as well as organic SEO. And depending on how you got to it, well, the bottom line is you found it through some form of targeting that we're doing with our content generation. And ultimately, this is even more so the case with e-commerce, because frankly, at the end of the day, being able to reach the specific niche audience, like I talked about earlier, it really sets you up to be way more competitive than the commoditized offerings. So social media, by its nature, in order to survive, has enabled advertising mechanisms that can be very focused on what the users are interested in and marrying the analytics so that the advertisers can target their preferred market. And it's as simple as that. There really isn't a lot more detail or nuance that we need to go into here, but you can see some of the overall just data here for this particular market. At the end of the day, though, the bottom line is how well can you target your specific market at what cost? And with a lot of social media, you can target your market at an extremely low cost, and it's literally going to be some of the highest return on investment that you're going to make into advertising once you get it locked in. So it's a potent opportunity for you to leverage to scale up. And we highly encourage you to continue to look at this and look at some of the different mediums of social media as they continue to progress within the industry. Now, we pointed this out in previous videos, but you'll also want to be on the lookout for similar competition here that you would see from large giants. You're going to see social media platforms continue to focus on social commerce and building that out as well. That's okay. It's part of the game. Again, the more that you niche down, the more value you can bring to your focus area, you can then land and expand from there. Now, the final piece that we'll point out, and this really depends on sort of your industry and your space as to how and when this is probably going to be a big deal, but that is Web 3.0. Now, a lot of people, when they hear Web 3.0 or paying with a crypto wallet, for example, that's a very myopic subset of Web 3.0 in general. A lot of the concepts behind Web 3.0 have to do with distributed and basically secure data that is leveraging essentially a ledger that is publicly held. And without going into a ton of detail, a lot of the benefits of Web 3.0 have to do with security and being able to manage someone's identity online without having it be, lost from a security perspective. Now, without going into tons of detail again on this, if you're interested in seeing a deep dive on Web 3.0 and how this might apply to your specific business, feel free to leave a comment. We will gladly respond and produce a more detailed video. But the summary here is there are a lot of facets of Web 3.0 that you'll probably want to consider and get additional information on. We're certainly happy to provide that, but just as a general statement, how are you prepping your business over the next several years to leverage this concept? And what are you doing to identify other players in your industry and possibly peripheral industries so you can sort of see the trend before it gets here? You don't want to be caught off guard with your competition leveraging this. And ideally, if you're really watching, you can go ahead and position yourself to incrementally move into Web 3.0 in advance of your competition. Again, a lot of this has to do with security, and taking advantage of that doesn't require that you do majorly experimental or risky aspects of Web 3.0. If you are looking at taking advantage of cryptocurrencies and crypto wallets and that kind of thing, they are highly commoditized and very simple to turn on in general. So anyway, with that said, thank you guys for watching this video on e-commerce in the news. We certainly look forward to seeing you in the next one. If you enjoyed this video, smash the like button, hit subscribe if you'd like to see more. We'll look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.